Tonight with another shooting of a San Antonio police officer. We've been following this breaking news for the last 2 hours or so. This shooting happened in a Southwest Side neighborhood near Iroquois and Ute Street.
So investigators are telling everybody to avoid that area as they continue to work through evidence. Our John Paul Barajas is there right now. JP, we do understand that investigators aren't saying much right now, but you're at the scene. What have you learned so far?
Well, that's the million-dollar question. What is happening out here right now? What we do know is that there's at least one suspect at large and at least one officer and that suspect got into an altercation and started shooting. But the details of that shooting have not been confirmed to us. Back out here, it may seem calm behind me, but this is still a very tense situation. Probably 15 minutes before the newscast, we saw a dozen SWAT officers walked towards the right behind these homes. We heard a little bit of shouting. We might have heard a gunshot. I can't confirm to you what it sounded like, but it was some type of bang. But that was only a single sound. And after that, things have remained pretty calm on what we could see. We did see one officer leave the scene and move his car from the scene. That gives you the idea maybe they have things a little bit more under control, or they could just be moving that officer to another location where he is needed. But as far as the residents here, there is a sense of panic and just a scary type of feeling. We talked to one woman who lives just across the street. She said she got home from chemotherapy, just kind of in shock to see what this was happening behind her, the massive scene and the blocked off quadrant in her neighborhood. Another woman was across this street. She was playing with her kids in the front yard. She said she saw multiple units come zooming down the street quickly. She said as soon as she saw the SWAT officers with their rifles and tactical gear, she took her kids and moved them inside. We also talked to one person who pulled up trying to get into the scene. A man very frantic with his kids in the back looking for his parents. He said his parents live inside the barricaded area and that he could not get in contact with them. He was eventually turned away by police because this is still an active scene. So lots of information to come from this. We do have another crew at a command post waiting for Police Chief William McManus to give us more information. That way we can bring that to you, because all we know, as I mentioned, suspect at large, officer and suspect exchange gunfire in some way, shape or form, but those details not confirmed. On the Southwest Side, John Paul Barajas, KSAT 12 News.
Wow, there's a lot of people worrying in that neighborhood, John Paul. Thank you. Now, next week, leaders in San Antonio are planning to pass a $3.7 billion spending plan. But a council member wants the city to cut its budget because she wants the city to get less money from CPS Energy.
And in turn, she thinks that could help keep the energy company from raising your rates. Here to explain it all is City Hall reporter Garrett Burns. So, Garrett, what's her idea here?
Well, I think as anybody with a CPS Energy bill knows that the utility did raise your rates last year. It also has been planning to raise them again next year and in 2026. Councilwoman Melissa Cabello-Havrda, who represents the Northwest Side and is considering a possible mayoral run, has floated an idea she thinks could prevent at least the first of those rate increases. First, some basics. The city owns CPS Energy and, as such, gets a cut of its revenues, which have recently been more than expected. Cabello-Havrda says taking a smaller cut over the next 5 years would save CPS money, and in exchange, the utility would not raise rates. She says she talked to CPS about her idea.
Well, it depends on what they were going to ask for down the road, and every year we have to kind of look at that again. What I could say is that it would, if we were able to do this, then it would stave off the rate increase they were going to ask for this year.
We asked CPS about her plan, and they only told us that they're still working to determine the final number needed for their next rate request. Now, the other question is what this would do to the city budget. CPS revenue is one of the city's biggest pots of money, and the cuts the councilwoman is suggesting could mean passing up on just $90 million in just the next year. She thinks it's possible to drop that much from the proposed spending plan for next year without sacrificing existing services. But taking that much out of the plans for the general fund would qualify as a cut compared to this year's budget. It's not clear what would be taken out of the budget proposal to balance it all out.
Not any particular area, no. I mean, we'd have to take from a little bit from everywhere, right? It couldn't be all one area or department. We don't want to look at that. But yeah, absolutely. I think it's a bunch of different areas.
Cabello, however, did seem flexible on the amount to forego from CPS revenue, saying she thinks it would be about a 2 to 3% drop on what the city currently takes in. But she wants to have a conversation about it and is planning to bring it up tomorrow. She does plan to bring it up during the budget talks, and if the rest of the council likes her idea, that would leave about a week for staff to come up with an alternate spending plan before they vote on the budget next Thursday. Myra?
Garrett will be asking the mayor about that idea coming up in our next half hour. Thank you. Meantime, another brutal dog attack in San Antonio today, and a neighbor witnessed it all.
This is tragic. It happened at a home on Heidelberg Street on the northeast side. San Antonio police say that the victim, a man in his 40s, was sitting in his yard around 11:30 when two pit bulls attacked him. Investigators say the dogs belong to a neighbor. Now, Chuck Sutton, who also lives in that area, heard that commotion. He walked outside to see what was happening. Chuck says that he grabbed his gun, he called out for help, but the dogs had already done major damage.
Just out of nowhere, under the fence, like a bulldozer, under the fence, and attacked him. You ever seen what a bear can do to a human body? That's about the best I can describe it.
Now, right now, the dogs are under a 10-day quarantine with Animal Care Services. SAPD says criminal charges could be filed here. At last check, the victim underwent surgery and is in critical condition. The Olmos Park police chief is out after 9 years on the job. Now, we weren't given an exact reason as to why Chief Rene Valenciano is no longer chief. We've reached out to the Olmos Park Police Department, and they did verify there have been no internal investigations into the former chief within the last year. Valenciano's tenure is effectively over immediately.
San Antonio police trying to make sense of a Monday night shooting that left a man in critical condition. It happened in the 2000 block of Bandera Road near Loop 410. Police say that a man flagged them down, saying that someone had shot his friend. Police also say that man and his friend had actually confronted a woman, flashed a gun, then pulled the trigger and missed her. That's when someone fired at those men and hit one of them. Now, police don't know who the shooter was there, but now police are investigating what led up to that gunfire or if anybody else is going to be charged.
It is being called a case with great significance for the state of Texas. The Ken Paxton impeachment trial has just wrapped up its first day. A lot took place today, including the first witness to take the stand. Erica Hernandez takes us inside the state capitol for a closer look at this high-stakes political trial.
One side is saying that shocking facts will show that Attorney General Ken Paxton abused his power, while the other side is saying all those facts are completely false. The state's 30 senators were sworn in and will be the ones to make the decision on 16 articles of impeachment after both the prosecution and defense put on 24 hours of testimony and evidence. With Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick presiding, the trial began after senators denied to dismiss the impeachment articles during pre-trial motions. During opening statements, both sides threw jabs at each other.
This whole case is a whole lot of nothing. What happens here will have consequences no matter how it turns out.
Mr. Paxton has been entrusted with great power. Unfortunately, rather than rise to the occasion, he has revealed his true character. And as the overwhelming evidence will show, he is not fit to be the Attorney General for the state of Texas.
The first witness to take the stand for the prosecution, Jeff Mateer, Paxton's former second in command, who would later accuse Paxton of committing crimes. In order for Paxton to be impeached and removed from office, 21 senators have to vote to sustain an article of impeachment. Overall, a pretty calm day today with everything running pretty much smoothly. Now, the trial will resume tomorrow morning and is expected to last into next week. In Austin, Erica Hernandez, KSAT 12 News.
Now, a 17-year-old girl at the center of a Metroplex Amber Alert is now facing a capital murder charge. An Amber Alert for Natalie Navarro went out last Friday after a deadly shooting investigation wrapped up in Garland, which is just outside of Dallas. She was identified as a person of interest in that death investigation the same day that the Amber Alert was issued. Garland police say that Navarro was in grave danger, and that's what prompted the Amber Alert. Webb County jail records show that police arrested Navarro the same day that Amber Alert went out. So now she's being held on a $1 million bond.
Plans to turn a Schertz golf course into a duplex community have now been scrapped. Just hours before the city council was set to vote on this idea, the developer, Haby Land LLC, pulled its zoning application. That golf course has been closed since 2019. The city council notes show an overwhelming number of neighbors around this property opposed the project. With pressure from neighbors, city council voted against approving it several times.
So now we're going to give you a live look outside. We looked at several different cameras, and this was the only one that really picked up some traffic activity there. That's Loop 410 at Jackson Keller. Looks like the northbound lanes are the ones where we're seeing a lot of traffic. I mean, it's still flowing, though. It's just going a little slower than you would like, as opposed to the southbound lanes that seem to be flowing pretty smoothly right now at almost 6:10 this evening.
Another look outside with live cam. Yes, we are further into September, but not too many signs of relief from this heat, Adam.
Yeah, don't pay attention to the date on the calendar when you're planning your day and your week. Take a look at the state today. Wichita Falls tied a record high, making it to 108. Abilene and San Angelo both tying record highs at 107 and 106, respectively. The heat is on. Now in San Antonio here, our record is a 111. That's actually the hottest air temperature ever recorded in the Alamo City. That was done in the year 2000. We did make it to 103 today, which is 10 degrees above average, and it marks our 69th 100-degree day. And we're going to keep counting them up in the days ahead. Actually, some record highs are likely to fall here in town. We'll break that down for you in a bit. First of all, this evening, becoming breezy, southeasterly wind at 15 to 25. Very humid and sticky after sunset. Get ready for some high humidity tonight and to start the day tomorrow. We also have Tropical Storm Lee now in the Atlantic. It's headed westward. I'll give you the latest in just a bit.
Adam, thank you. TikTok brain. Have you heard of this? That's what some experts in medicine and education are calling a condition where kids who constantly consume things in 15-second bursts just can't focus on long-form communication. Our Courtney Friedman spoke with a local psychiatrist who explains what parents can do about this.
It's becoming more common for kids to spend much of their day scrolling, and scrolling. Never-ending bite-sized videos that experts say are harming brain function, some calling it TikTok brain.
Some studies have demonstrated that use of social media is associated with changes in the way that the brain functions and responds to social stimuli.
UT Health psychiatrist Dr. Barbara Robles Ramamurthy says a lot of it has to do with social media algorithms.
They are using scientific information about how our brain works to keep us coming back. And so some of those loops have to do with dopamine, which can be associated with addiction, for example.
The issue is real for adults too, but the concern is higher for children whose brains are still developing. It even shows up in brain scans.
The way that youth may respond to social cues or even expectations of social interactions.
She said parents and teachers can look out for certain signs.
If they cannot put their phone down for more than an hour without checking it, right? Or if it's impacting their ability to listen in lecture, or if they cannot even have a phone conversation, then that might be a sign that it's time to take a break.
She wants to clarify that social media isn't all negative.
There are some very special, important aspects that it brings to our lives. And so it's a matter of balancing these out.
Robles Ramamurthy tells parents to have ongoing conversations with your kids about how social media can impact their lives. And when attention is an issue, set rules about putting the phone down.
She also said adults should reflect about being good examples, see how much we're using our phone, our attention spans, and if we're being present at home. Courtney Friedman, KSAT 12 News.
Keeping kids in class is a top priority in San Antonio, but it's a challenge. What's being done to accomplish that goal in a time where truancy is at an all-time high? The San Antonio Municipal Court is teaming up with Pre-K 4SA to keep kids in class. They're starting young. They launched the Attendance Matters campaign. The goal is to provide families with resources to cut down on chronic absenteeism from some San Antonio schools. A Texas Education Agency study says that is a major factor that contributes to increased dropout rates among students.
Chronic absenteeism is not just a matter of missed days. It's a barrier to a child's future potential. Every day in school matters, and every student's success matters.
The Attendance Matters campaign has posts, tips, and other resources about their initiative on the San Antonio Municipal Court website.
All right, now we want to talk about what's happening outside right now, although who would want to be out there? 102 degrees out there right now. And Adam, yesterday you were talking about a little glimmer of hope for some change.
Yep. Yeah. And we still have that. Our weather pattern looks like it's going to be shifting Sunday into Monday, and that gives us a glimmer of hope for some rain. Until then, more triple digits, more sunshine, more of the same. Take a look at our temperature trend here. Back into the low 100s tomorrow, really the rest of this week, and even into parts of the weekend as well. And that's going to challenge record high temperatures on some of those days, particularly Wednesday through Saturday. We are forecasting to tie or even exceed the record high for the day. They notice that little downturn Sunday and especially Monday, Tuesday. That's with that little shift in our weather pattern that's on the way. Look at our high temperatures today. New Braunfels 104, along with Del Rio, Cotulla 104. Upper 90s for a good portion of the hill country. Rock Springs 97. Kerrville 99 degrees for the high temperature, but those really were the exceptions. And as I showed you earlier, across the state, largely triple digits, but there is some cooler air out there. Look off to the northwest of us, some 60s and 70s for afternoon highs. North Platte, Nebraska, 73, Denver, 77. You see that dip in the upper level flow and a bit of a cold front bringing in some cooler temperatures. I wish I could tell you it's headed our way. Unfortunately, I think we all know the answer to that. It's not quite yet. I showed you our temperature trend. With that little dip in the flow, some rain off to the north, but we've got the upper level high. The Big Blue H, it's over northern Mexico. It's creeping overhead. It's going to settle over West Texas and New Mexico later this week and then start moving westward. And that's that little shift in our weather pattern I was talking about earlier. The center of that upper high, that's over northwest Mexico. And what that does, it opens the door for disturbances to come in with this northwesterly flow aloft. Disturbances can come in from New Mexico, parts of North Texas, and we can get leftovers of thunderstorms from those areas. We've seen this before and we've talked about it before. This time, it's giving us a 20 to 30% chance of showers. A 20% Sunday and Monday in the afternoon will have some instability and maybe enough energy than a 30% chance on Monday. But keep in mind, it's still early. We may be modifying these and possibly even raising some of those chances. We also look at the tropics. Of course, last week we had Harold bring us some areas of rain. Now we've got Lee. Tropical Storm Lee, way out in the Atlantic right now. This is going to go through some very rapid intensification and strengthening. And we're talking a Cat 4 predicted by the Hurricane Center by Saturday afternoon. So Category 4, luckily it's out to sea, basically between Bermuda and Puerto Rico. All right, that's the tropics. Those are the main things. By the way, behind Lee, there's another wave that we're going to be tracking here in a couple of days. 100, even right now at the airport. Dew point is 61. Dew points are generally around 60 at the moment, but notice they'll be spiking later on this evening as the sea breeze kicks in. You're going to notice that very high humidity that's going to be in place through tomorrow morning. Notice that little temperature drop with those slight rain chances. We'll keep you updated on how that's going to change in the days ahead.
Adam, thank you.
All right, let's turn to sports now with Mary Rominger. We're already gearing up for UTSA and Texas State, and there's a connection between these two teams.
There is a lot of familiarity between these two teams, and we're going to kind of get a closer look at that all week long. Specifically this week, today we take a look at Coach Kinney and Coach Traylor. They go way back. Plus, tonight, the Rangers and Astros square off in Game 2 of the Lone Star Series. Coming up. We're one day closer to the I-35 rivalry game between UTSA and Texas State at the Alamo Dome. Today we took a trip to San Marcos to hear from the Bobcats, who are coming off of a huge win over Baylor. The two head coaches in this game go back decades. RJ Marquez tells us more about the unique relationship between Jeff Traylor and GJ Kinney.
Well, there's a lot of great angles and relationships when it comes to this Texas State UTSA rivalry, and the biggest one being the relationship between Jeff Traylor and GJ Kinney. They've known each other since GJ was just in high school, was just a sophomore in high school, in fact. So Coach Kinney today talked about that relationship with Coach Traylor and what Jeff has meant for him in the coaching ranks.
Jeff's always one of those people that, you know, when he speaks, I listen and take it to heart. A lot of things that we do today are things that he told me, you know, back then, and whether it's high school or SMU or Arkansas. So he has a lot of wisdom, won a bunch of games and all that kind of good stuff together. But, you know, being in his son's wedding and being a part of that was really cool. I have nothing but respect for him, and no matter what happens on the game on Saturday, you know, me and Coach Traylor, ain't nothing going to change there.
I know GJ will have his team very prepared. They'll play with swagger. They'll play with confidence. He tells you what it's going to look like. I don't know where he got that from.
And while both coaches said that communication will be limited between them heading up to game day and kickoff, Coach Kinney told us today that he did send Coach Jeff Traylor a picture of a Whataburger he recently ate, kind of just poking at the fact that Coach Traylor apparently just now eats salads. Should be a lot of fun this Saturday at the Alamo Dome. Mary, back to you.
Football coverage brought to you by Davis Law Firm.
Great stuff by RJ. All right, the Dallas Cowboys boast one of the best teams they've had in recent years as they approach the 2023 NFL season. With that, the expectations are sky high for head coach Mike McCarthy's group. As the Cowboys prepare for their primetime Week 1 matchup against the Giants, McCarthy is stressing to his players that without any sample size, they have to focus on their own game.
You normally have comparables when you start the week versus who you're playing. This is what they've done, and well, no one's done anything. It's the first game, so there really are no comparables. There's reputation based on what you did last year. Doesn't mean much, but the reality of it is 35% of these plays in these first 4 weeks will be unscouted looks. So one out of three plays in a game are going to be probably something that's going to be a little different than what we've seen on film. So I think the biggest thing is to trust our training camp rules, come out and play with a lot of confidence, play with a lot of energy, and just really take care of the basics.
Tonight, the Rangers and Astros battle it out in Game 2 of the Lone Star Series. The Astros took Game 1 13-6. Nathan Eovaldi on the bump for Texas, his first start in 7 weeks. We'll have the highlights on the night beat. And quick mention, the Northeast and Northside ISDs have pushed all Friday night football games to 7:30 instead of 7 for the rest of the season. This helps the bus drivers with their schedules. So quick note, yeah.
All right, that's a good thing to keep in mind. Thank you so much.
We'll be right back.